So the flow of this evening's event, you will see two short films. The first is Clay. The second is White Lies, which will take about 20 to 22 minutes each. Then Dr. John Jarvis will interview Dawa Drolma. Let me tell you a little bit about Dawa. She spent years hoping to study outside of her village in Tibet, and in that time became a world-class photographer and filmmaker. Among the skills that Dawa, who is class of 2017 here at Bay Path College, stated for her application to Bay Path College's incoming first-year class was wolf hunting. This is no metaphor. As a yak herder in the high-altitude plateau of Tibet's Donza Valley, keeping wolves from her flock with a slingshot is vital to survival. Dawa's spellbinding story is a chain of epic journeys, and to hear her retell them brings the listener many thousands of miles and even centuries away from what we know as familiar. For this talented young woman left her ancestral village to pursue her two passions, a college education, and the opportunity to hone her craft in filmmaking. In that remote valley of Tibet, a son is traditionally envisioned to have the lone opportunity to leave his home to pursue a career in the world beyond. Like their father, however, Dawa's brother is a master sculptor, creating intricate renditions of the Buddha using techniques passed down in their family for generations. This craft is depicted in Dawa's short film, Clay, her moving documentary, which highlights one small facet of the many ancient traditional crafts that are produced in her valley. Recognizing her skills as a photographer and filmmaker, her brother said for her to take his spot and go off to college. Her father told her that an illness which almost took her life a decade before and had instead saved her, because she lived, he knew that there was something meant for her. He agreed to her travel abroad for higher education. What did this mean to Dawa? It was not just the ability to learn outside of her country. This meant that now she could leave Tibet to study business with the hopes of bringing this knowledge back to the Donza Valley and to help market the artists and their craft. Small actions we may take for granted are rendered incredibly complex on the rooftop of the world. Dawa was convinced by officials from her English language school in China to submit Clay, one of her documentaries, to the World Craft Council's International Film Festival in 2012. Unsure if the copy even made it to the judges, Dawa said she was stunned to learn that she had won first prize of the competition. Dawa has just finished her second documentary, which we will also see, White Lies, which draws upon her first career as a yak herder. Please join me now as we watch Clay and White Lies, then learn more about Dawa. Thank you.
나도 모두 지속해서 사대 너 차대 처제 차대 대 저거는 뭐 다른 양 차례 뒤 다 체크 나그래서 장난라 제나 이 돈을 받아 존나들 스타브스한테 나그래서
장고 다자도 같이 하지.
나 이건 다 자지 동부 제제시 때 조치하다 같이 때 제라 친춘춘이라는 혀라다 대나 상가래
좀 대담시.
라나서 그래라 저것도 저 바쁘지 구르시 다던자고 영화장하라는 저 구르래 총실
그래서 된저거도 저.
저시 저 탐자 몸을 그래 저 잘 그래 되는 줄라 구쇼를 살아 뭔가 되고 맞아요.
다 자를 연 거진다 지나 다 상나본데 지를 너 그셔 가지 그다란 너 거면서 들 뒤도 빼서 되거라 렉루르라 대나이나 이제 간데 짜나 되기래나 가지래 너 그서 잘해 돼 자자 거자 뒤도 찾지 그래 뒤로 와 줘라 뒤다
나는 지금 그 시간 지던데 또
뭐든 나자 나자 나기대 이 이제 내는 나기 짝 뒤도 빼줘는 사태 뒤면은 저 라는 티 그라 루는래
Thank you, Dawa. Hello, is this working? Oh, it is. Okay, great. We are so fortunate to have Dawa with us here tonight. I had her in one of my classes last semester, got to know her, and this is kind of the result of finding out her amazing talent. So if you'd have a nice seat, get comfortable, and we're going to have a conversation here tonight. You know, Oprah, I never thought it was one of my career paths, but I'm fitting in as best I can, and I'm wonderfully charmed to have such a beautiful representative of another culture with us here tonight. And we have many international students and students from East Longmeadow and Enfield who all bring their own cultures and their own beauty. But Dawa brings it in film and photos so that we can see it. And we want to know the story. So in the next few minutes, I want to tease out the story behind the story. That'll take us about 15 minutes. And then question and answer any questions you have to look deeper into Dawa's wonderful story. So we want to know where she came from, how she got so far away from her mountain valley, and where she's going. So very simple interview format. Dawa has such a presence that it's messing up our mics. Her spiritual depth. So the question everybody's probably asking, and the good lead off is, how did a fine young woman like you, who was destined to herd yaks, end up not herding yaks, but rather making films in a place as far away as America?
Testing. I would say it's a long story, and I think everything started from when I was really sick, when I was 9 actually. Actually it's 10 in Tibetan, but it's 9 here. So I got really sick, so almost everyone like in my home think I'm gonna die soon, and nobody thought that I will become better. So I went to, but my father took me to Chengdu, which is 5 days of bus from my home to find a hospital. And when we got there, we had lots of trouble on the way to the place. And then when we got there, we spent like 10 days or 15 days. I cannot remember that clearly because I was really sick. So sometimes I cannot remember anything. So we spent that much time to looking for a hospital because we cannot find one. Because we don't speak any Chinese, we don't read, and we don't write. So we faced lots of difficulties because we don't know how to read and write. So I got better after 1 year, and then when I got back, I said I want to go to school. I said I don't want myself to face the same situation later in my life. My father said, okay, then. So I just started going to school when I was 10. And then after 10, I went to school, I left my home, and then I went to Shini, which is another city. And when there, I met Dr. Gerald Roach and Elena Michaela. They taught me English, so that's where I learned my English. And Dr. Gerald is an anthropologist, and Elena Michaela, she's a photographer. So you can guess what happened after that. We have this. I cannot. And after that, so the school shut down after 2 years, and then Gerald Roach organized a group of people, like 6 of us, students from different places in Tibet. And we started doing cultural preservation project, which is funded by Fiber Foundation. And then I started my first book, this one. It's about folk songs. It's oral literature, so it's a walking songs. When I started that, and then of course I need some photography because I cannot tell everything in my English because I have a limitation, as you can see. So I said, yeah, I want to learn photography, and then I borrowed a nice, decent digital camera from Elena, and I went back to my community, started taking pictures and everything I want to share, and I came back and showed, like my teachers, and then they said they really liked those photos, and then we started doing this, writing the book. And then after that, I had a chance to work for a local NGO as a volunteer. I became their volunteer photographer, and also researcher. So I can have more access to the camera, the video camera. So they borrowed me a really fancy video camera. That's where the one I used for the clay sculpture. So you can see it's a really fancy video, so like video camera. So that's how it started.
And
Maybe we're too close.
we don't know. So Dawa, with your video camera, you made the clay sculpture film.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them how you edited that film.
Yeah, that's it. And I didn't learn any filmmaking, so all I know is to push the record button when I got the camera. Of course I don't want to mess up with the camera because it's so expensive. I don't have money to pay for that, so I didn't try to stay away from that. And then when I come to the editing, I have no idea. I never learned anything about editing, so I was learning from going. We don't have YouTube there, so I started looking for videos how to teach you for software to editing film. So I was looking at the videos how to do that, and asking friends who makes films like editing. They are not really professional, but they do much better job than I did. So that's how it started.
Where did you get your software to edit your first film?
It's this. Adobe Premiere, they have a 1 month to experiment.
Free trial.
Yeah, free trial.
So she had 1 month to make that film.
Yeah, actually, it's still for 10 days, I didn't do anything. I said, oh my God, I only got 20 days. So that's why I lost everything after that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how. So we're talking about how Dawa got here. And after you made your first film, that was a huge stepping stone. What happened with that film, with the one you've just seen?
Yeah, the first one, because I didn't made it for contest. I didn't know there are such contests exist, so I want just make it, and I want to give it back to the local people. So I made 100 DVDs, and then give back to the locals, and then Dr. Gerald Roach said that there is a contest like that. Do you want to participate? I said, yeah, and you don't need to pay for that. I said, okay, and Yeah, I sent it and I didn't pay any attention for three months. I didn't even look at that. I said maybe that sounds cool because all the people who are going to judge this film, they are all really people interested in film like crafts. I said maybe it will be good at advertise for their crafts, and also good to let people know about Tibetan crafts. So. And then after 3 months, I said I'm on the last round in the contest. It took me a while to think about what what the competition was, and I didn't really pay attention. And then after a few days, and then 3:00 in the morning, I got an email says you got the first award. I cannot believe. So it took me a while. I sent it to my friends and. Asking, is it true or not? They said, looks true.
So you have internet right at your home?
No, I wasn't not in that time. I was back in the place where I was going to school. Actually, lots of part-time job, like bartender, research assistant. And
back that up. I'm sure I didn't get the vocabulary right. Did you say bartender?
Yeah.
Was it a milk bar or yak bar or what?
And yeah, they do sell coffee because I speak English, so they want to have someone who's speak English. So and also research assistant, teacher's office assistant, and tour guide, translator, lots of things.
And a lot of that was because of your English language skills.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're still on how she got here. It is an epic journey, as the young woman who announced it. It's kind of an epic journey. So let's keep going. So you won an award. Now, let's get to the deeper issue of you were born in a world where girls herd yaks. They don't go to school. They don't learn to read and write most of the time. And you broke out of all of that. Why? What motivated you? Why did you choose to become not only a filmmaker, but now you're an award-winning filmmaker? Why did you become a filmmaker?
I would say I didn't break any options or rules or anything. I think it's still, if I'm back in Tibet, I'm still a yak herder and then nothing more. But yeah, I choose it because I really want to, the first thing I really want to read and write. And then my father, he always say that, he said, you want to go to school? Yes. I said, yes. So why you want to go to school? So he said, do you think I will leave you starving, without food or clothes? I said, of course not. I said, then good. So if you are just worrying about a job or anything that you can feed yourself, he said, don't need to worry. I will feed you. I won't let you starving. I said, okay. And then I said, I didn't really get it, but he said, you shouldn't have more than a job, something. They said, okay. So that's why. And my parents have always been really supportive, not like other parents. They will really trust me, and they always let me do whatever I want to, and they think I will make the right choice all the time. So that's also one reason.
I've heard a little bit that your father was deeply influenced by that terrible illness you had at 10. Nobody expected you to live through it. When you did, he thought there was something special in your future, that you lived for a purpose. Is that true?
Yeah. I think so. After that, he really changed a lot. He will never, he didn't really stop me from doing the things I want. And even lots of people say, you cannot go there, you cannot do there, or you cannot make through this or something. He always say okay, I will give you the right to do things you want to do. It's your choice. You want to do better, or you want to just mess up with it. It's your choice. So when you grow up, when you regret, don't blame on me. I said, okay.
Very good. So here you are making films. We need a little background on your life and who is this person behind the films. And I like especially your Three Bears story. Could you tell us the story? This is a different version of the Three Little Bears. Could you tell us about your Three Little Bears story?
Okay, yeah. He want to embarrass me. Okay. I think I was really tiny that time. I was maybe around 8 or something. I was herding early in the morning, and I was beside the river. So I don't know. Maybe I was really sleepy. So I was with my yaks, so like maybe 20 or something. And then I realized my yaks are getting really nervous, and I didn't know why. So I turned back. There are 3 brown bears behind me, standing up, like looking like this at me. And there are 2 babies beside her. So, to be a yak herder, the first thing you need to do is keep your yak safe. And of course, you need to keep yourself safe. And you need to also scare those wolves or bears off of your yaks. And I totally forgot everything. The first thing I did is I didn't care about yaks. Or I didn't play dead from bear. And I just started running back to my home.
Oh, and Dawa, tell us, there's a whole culture of what do you do when you're faced with a big brown bear? And so she'd been trained. At 8 years old, she already knew what to do with a bear. What are you supposed to do, and what are you not supposed to do?
I played dead, actually, or scare off, like doing this gesture so they can run away from you. But I totally forgot everything. I was so scared, so I gave up my yaks and didn't even think about that. I was running back, and I told my mom, I can hardly breathe. And I told my mom said, what happened? I said, brown bears. And she said, where's your yaks? Oh, I forgot. Then I went to the roof and looked back, and the yak are like in peace. They are like eating grass, and the brown bears, they didn't even pay attention on me. They just crossed the river and went away. And I'm the only one who's being panicked.
Well, at 8, we'll forgive you for being panicked by 3 brown bears. And in Idaho, I learned the same thing. Never run from a bear, because it sparks their deeper instinct to chase. Anything runs, they'll chase it and catch it. Even if they're not hungry, they're going to chase it down and stop it. So do not run from a bear. And she ran. Oh, no.
Maybe sometimes it works.
If you're really fast and especially scared, I think you're all right. So thank you for your 3 bears story. I think we're getting a feel for the amazing spirit and person behind all this filmmaking. This is all coming from a place and a people who live a beautiful, unique way of life, and the compassion that the yak herder, who is the yak woman who made the pretend baby? Who is that woman?
My neighbor, we grew up together. Like I grew up there, and she's one who teach me how to be a herder beside my mom. Sometimes she knows, but she doesn't really say anything, so I learn more from her. She's really like to teach. She likes to share lots of things about yak.
In that film, we saw a lot of compassion in this rough way of life where, you're close to the earth. You're using dung for fire starter. It's a great fire starter, to get the big wood going. Was there a lot of compassion? There was one point in the film, I want to signal this. There's one point in the film where you see the filmmaker's hand. What was going on when you reached out and you petted Cheesy's nose?
I tell you one thing. I hate Cheesy when I was small. Because she's so naughty. She's the leader of my yak group. So she always lead the all group of yak to forest or far away, so I cannot find them. I used to beat up my grandma and my mom many times for that. So I used to really hate her. And then the moment You saw that when she lost her baby, and first thing she came to me, and she felt like she's looking like asking for comfort her, and then I was crying so hard behind the camera, so like my camera is shaking, and I don't know, like I don't hate her anymore, so I feel so sad about her, cause she's the one. I was chasing the yak from the 6 o'clock in the morning with my camera, and we crossed lots of mountains to look for her baby. I was doing nothing. I was just following behind her, looking, seeing how she looked for her baby, and she found out the baby first before me, and then she was like, I think she's not brave enough to really go close to the baby, and then she came back to me. I was, oh my God, she recognized me. Like after all those years I've been to school, I left her alone, and then she need to face all those things, so yeah.
So there's really an amazing bond between a grieving mother and a daughter who shared that.
Yeah,
That's
and
sad.
I think all the moms, no matter what, like living being your yak or dog or cat, anything, I think mothers are such like compassion, or beloved creatures more than anything. So that's one reason I think she's so amazing.
So to sum up, Dawa, it seems to me that what we've got here is a situation where you're a filmmaker because you're a failed yak herder. Which is a lesson to us all. When one door closes, another one opens. Please check all the doors and windows and find which one's open. Sorry.
Okay.
You told me one more beautiful story. As a father, listening to a daughter talk and seeing the courage and the stamina and the determination and the love of life. As a young, maybe someday yak herder, before we knew the truth, you used to, every now and then, you lose a yak into the forest, and you're like 6, 7, 8 years old. You've lost a yak. Night is coming. What was that like?
Yeah, I'll tell you one more story. One time, my cousin and me, we are herding. We combined all the yaks together. So we are herding there, and then we are collecting. There are lots of wild fruits. They are so delicious. And then we are so into it, and we are making juice of that from our clothes, squeezing and making juice and drinking it. And then all of a sudden, we realize it's getting dark, and then we look around. Yaks are gone. Oh my God, and so it's getting really dark, and we are so scared. I don't know, like we are scared of darkness, and we are not brave enough to go back to the forest to look for the yaks. And we are not brave enough to go back to my home, so we're gonna beat by my parents. So we are wandering between, until getting really dark, and we don't know where to go. So my mom was calling us from the valley on the mountains, so we can hear, but we are so scared. But it's getting really dark, so we cannot stay anymore. So we went back. Actually, the yaks went back by themselves. So my mom told me, actually, you are the one should be herd, like yaks. Your yaks are you back.
Well, you've overcome that difficulty
Yeah.
by a change of career. I think it was probably a good thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was beaten by my grandma.
Well, if you got to be beaten by somebody, you want them as old as possible. Grandmothers would be my first choice.
She has a really powerful. She's energetic.
Could you edit that out of the film in case grandmother ever gets on YouTube and finds us? Well, let's talk to the future now. And let's start actually with the future of the crafts. There's a purpose behind Dawa's passion for capturing those crafts on film. What is the future of craft making in your valley looking like right now? And be sure to tie in caterpillar fungus.
Oh, yeah. So,
This is a new vocabulary word. She said it to me 5 times this morning before I realized she wasn't speaking Tibetan language. Caterpillar fungus. So let's see if she can work that into her story. It's just a little challenge.
yeah. So, that's why I'm making the craft film, and one reason I grew up in craft family. My parents, my father actually, not my mom, but they make craft for their life, and then my brother too, and also they make not only my family, but the 40% of my community, they make crafts, but not only bronze statues. They make pottery, wood covering, stone covering, like gold and silver smiths, and weaving, paper. They make lots of things out of course, of pottery. Did I mention that? And then I found them really. Even I said I have no talent in craft. That's why another reason my father sent me to school. But still, I think I share the same passion when it comes to crafts. I still love crafts. I really love crafts. And then I also found that they make such a beautiful crafts, and because they are trained themselves for generations and generations, no one can do better job than they do. So that's why I think it need to film also. And another reason, caterpillar fungus. Caterpillar fungus is, let me explain this. And caterpillar fungus, there are insects in the summer underground. So they dead. They become dead during the winter. And during the spring comes, they become grass. They will grow. So this one becomes a really super popular soup for Chinese people. They want to have a healthy, strong body, and it became really, really expensive. In 30 years ago, it's only like a few dollars for 1 pound. But this year, last few years, their price got 3,000 times. It's
So,
super
let's be clear,
expensive.
it used to be $3 to $4 a pound for caterpillar fungus grass that was an herbal medicine in China that's terribly sought after, more than truffles in France. So this is the truffles of the Tibetan plateau.
Yeah, so
$3,000 a pound.
yeah, so that's become the main income for Tibetan people, and because of the global warming and the climate change, that's, as you can see, all around the world, and then there are lots of researchers showing that the caterpillar fungus will disappear in 10 to 15 years. So that's the thing. So what are we gonna do after 10 to 15 years? We are still not it's not easy for us to go to a city without reading and write to get a job. So what we can do better, maybe crafts, because even it's easy money for only 2 years. You can earn like thousands of dollars, but if you don't have that, then maybe we can choose crafts. So I think it's a good thing to go back without not be deciding going into the cities without not knowing anything about education and not knowing anything reading and writing. And then I think it's easy for Tibet to learn from craft again.
And now we come to Bay Path College, where we have you here studying business in Tom Loper's department, his school, business major. Business major with a unique twist, as you might expect at this point in time from everything you've heard before. She's not just going to be, a typical mainstream business employee when she graduates. What are you going to do with your Bay Path business degree?
I want to go back. I don't think I really suit in United States. Even I'm not a good herder, and that's why I came here. So I want to, because I feel like I own so much from my own community, not only their culture but the sport they gave me, and also people who are helping me all those way around here. Like there have been so many people are making this thing possible. So I think it's really like good. I can make a difference back in my home, maybe, but not big difference here. So it's smart, right?
Right. Yes. Everybody agrees. So you're going to take your business degree back. Are you going then to help market crafts on the international market?
Yeah, that's what I want to. I want to go back and help them, because the people, we don't have any people who have a like profession in business, and they never learned about business, and people who make craft, they never read and write, and they didn't had chance to go to get any education. So I think maybe I can help them, and they can help me, and my parents, of course, they all crafts people. So that's what I want to do.
And let's be clear, the beautiful crafts you're seeing, how long does it take one craftsman to make one of those beautiful clay sculptures first? Just to make a clay sculpture, how long does it take?
Clay sculpture, the one I filmed, it took 2 days, 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, just only the one sculpture.
Now, for a bronze sculpture that's made from that, a cast and all that, which we have some smaller ones here because she had to bring them in the airplane, you know, and they can weigh like 40 or 50 pounds. So how long does it take to make then a full-scale bronze statue of Buddha?
Half year.
6 months to make one. How much does one of those sell for? We may have a taker out here. What you got?
Yeah, I need to think about how much is in the United States. Their dollar.
Don't forget
like
taxes or tax. No,
I didn't know.
No. Dawa, that was a tease.
Okay. I think around like 1,800.
$1,800 for one of those.
Yeah.
So this is serious, amazing world crafts. It's not the plastic stuff that you get, you know, at the local tourist shop. And so it's incredible art form. Takes 6 months to make one of those. So I've already been telling Dawa, and I'm sure Dr. Loper will help us later, you got to get about 10 of those over here. And we'll have some sort of amazing market going on in the Pioneer Valley where there's probably 10 people can afford and would you know, treasure such an amazing gift.
That's also one issue that we are facing. Like lots of local people cannot afford to buy those handmade crafts anymore because it's so expensive. But we cannot keep our price down anymore because that's the time we spend on this. And my father thinks every step is really necessary, so he make it really detailed. So I'm okay with that. So.
And just so you understand how it works, who is the most likely organization to buy these expensive Buddhist crafts?
In Tibet?
In Tibet.
So most of them are monasteries, like temples. They can buy it. And usually they don't buy it, they will order it and then ask my father to make it. My father don't make lots of them, so my father always get the order, then he started making those crafts and then gave it to
So he knows he has a buyer before he puts in 6 months.
Yeah.
I think he has some business skills, actually. He knows. But marketing, I can see you with her media skills. Oh my goodness. Watch out, world. Dawa is going to market Buddhas like nobody's marketed Buddhas before. You're going to fall in love with them and then enrich a culture through marketing. Well, Dawa, do you have... let's see, what time is it? I'm thinking it's time to move to question and answer and give
Yeah.
people here a chance to personally get some insights. Any questions you have? If you have any cows, Dawa has advice about herding.
Not sure it's good one.
Not necessarily good advice, but sincere advice. Yes, Dr. Loper.
Oh,
Can you tell us how you found Bay Path Dawa?
Bay Path, I would say thank you to Gogo. So I was the after school shadow. I was working, getting lots of part-time job, and then Dr. Gerald and Lena said maybe that we started applying schools in the United States, and then they gave me lots of list, but Bay Path wasn't not in the list. And then I just go like search some business schools in the United States, and then Bay Path came up. And I looked through the application. Looks pretty like easy to do that. So, and yeah, so I did fill up online and send it to them. I'm not sure if I did it right or not sure, but yeah, then I got back from like saying I got your application from Joe. So, and then she was the one who made me fall in love with Bay Path. She was talking to me like every day and like full helping me with the processing with passport and visa, everything. And she was there when I was getting visa too. So I was, maybe that's the school I need to go. I said, yeah.
Well,
so I choose Bay Path after
and
all.
We are so glad that you did, Dawa.
I'm glad too, I did.
If you think this is fun, having her in a class, like, tell us what you did last summer that was the boldest thing you did. Well, this wolf pack came and they were trying to kill my my yaks. Oh, really? The other young women in the room suddenly get a whole different perspective on what teenage years are like in other places. So more questions, though. This is your chance to find out all the things you've longed to know about Tibet, about being a young woman in Tibet.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Yes, thank you.
No, I have a question. You said that you had this serious illness, and you had to go and try to find a hospital. What was that illness, and how were you cured?
So let me repeat the question. What was the illness that took you down at age 10, and how was it cured?
I'm so sorry to tell you, actually, I don't know what I got, because I didn't know like what going on with me. So it's kind of really scary sickness. There are insects coming out of my body everywhere. So people are getting really scared of me. Like they think, oh my God, she got cursed. See, that's the face. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't know like what it called. And my father didn't know any Chinese or anything. So we just going through the sign languages on the papers and the medicines, and we just recognize by their shapes and colors. That's all we know. And I did go back to search like what I got.
And were you in Chengdu, China? Is that where you went to the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
Did you understand that because of no literate skills in Chinese, they spent 10 days trying to find where the hospital was. 10 days, sick girl in and out of consciousness. Tell me, you did find a hospital, right?
Yeah, I did, I think.
Hard to remember, okay.
Yes. The hardest time is we are sleeping on the floor. We don't have a sheet or anything. So I was getting really sick. And it's really cold that time. It's winter, so I thought the hardest time for me is to say goodbye to my mom. I thought I would never come back, and she said the first thing I want to tell her when I got off hospital, I said I'm still alive, but we didn't have phone, so we we cannot tell her. I'm sure she knows I'm getting better, but I didn't know that I didn't know that she will know I'm getting better. So
How long were you in Chengdu then?
half year in the hospital.
For a half year, your mother didn't know if you really made it or not.
I think she might heard from someone like saying your daughter is getting better, or of course, or something. But we didn't have a phone to call her or anything, so I didn't know that she knows.
Well, did your neighbor like sew up something that looked like Dawa? Sorry, Professor Humor. Make your poor mother feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was really. I think she's really tough one.
Oh man.
Yeah, because we didn't have money, so she cannot come with me. So, of course, she need to take care of my younger brother, my grandma, and yaks. So she cannot like leave everything there. So she didn't come with us, but she really want to come with me, and she asked me to come, like try to like persuade my father to take her with me, but it didn't work out. So.
Okay. Wow, what an amazing. This is an epic journey. We started out with those words. Epic journey. I can see why your parents must be so proud of you here in America. Do you talk to your parents very much?
Yeah, sometimes. One amazing thing is when I got here, my mom learned how to make video calls from Tibet. It's so amazing, and she sometimes sends some like funny faces because she never had a phone, so because she want to talk to me, so she learned how to do that.
Do the icons. I'm assuming she didn't get to go to school, so she can't actually text you or
she
write
cannot
you.
text me, so send a voice message
Right.
or like a FaceTiming, something like that.
Oh, that's great.
So these days we don't have any internet or anything, so she must be worrying, like saying, maybe that's the time when she's doing something.
Well, let's turn. I have just one final question, and then we can bring. There were a couple more questions. Let's get those.
Yes. How old are you when you first start learning how to herd yaks? And is it only females who do that?
So, how old were you when you started learning to herd yaks? And is this really women's work?
Yeah, it's like a kid's job. I think I start from 6. I start from small yaks, like baby yaks, nearby the rivers, and then move to the big yaks with my cousins. So I would say like I started herding from 6.
And I'm assuming your cousin is a girl cousin.
No, a boy.
Okay.
We didn't. It's normal. Like girls, boys. It just depends. Like you can both girls or boys can herd, and it's not only boys' job, also girls' job.
How about adults? Is there separation of work at adult level? Like your mother does the yaks, your father does the craft making?
Yeah. Usually, woman does the milking and taking care of the yaks. Some family have, if you have like hundreds of yaks, they like father will go herding with her son or something. But yeah, usually it's like the woman who taking care of the yaks, and then fathers making handicrafts or doing some business or like exchanging the butters for rice or barley.
We're talking about barter system. You trade
Trade.
butter for barley, butter
Yeah.
for rice.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a question. Yes, sir.
The influence of China onto Tibet, your area where you are, what is the situation there?
Do you feel the Chinese presence in your valley? Is there a Chinese influence?
I would say like 99% of population is Tibetan, so I think we are like pure Tibetan.
Okay, so very pure. So culturally.
Yeah, it's pure.
Very good, very good. We still got room for more questions. Yes.
Did you have any trouble with the Chinese embassy for your visa to come over here to study?
I got the visa, so that's what I can say.
Is there any difficulty usually with that?
Yeah. We're trying to stay to culture very much because that's what her expertise is in culture. And politics, she wants to just stay away from that because that's...
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so she's an award-winning filmmaker. Oh, her film aired on National Public Television China.
Yeah.
So that put her in good graces with, she had all kinds of social and political capital with which to get a passport and to get everything. The Chinese government's proud of their Tibetan cultural sort of icon among young people. So she's had a great relationship with China and didn't they even send a Chinese public television team to your house?
Yeah, they didn't know that the filmmaker was a Tibetan people. They thought because as you can see, their subtitles are English, and then they thought they're like outside of China, like foreigner film group came to Tibet to make the film. So they came to my village, and I was filming, and my brother came to me like say, the CCTV national like TV program is here looking for you. I said, just go away. I said, I'm working here. And he said, I'm serious. And I said, oh God, you're just teasing me. Like I'm really, like I was filming, so they don't make noise. And he said, look. And then I looked through the window, and then I saw there are lots of cars there, and then realized there's something really there. So they came and they said, so who did make the film? I said, I did. You? And they looked, and like, because I was in Tibetan dress, and they didn't even know that I speak Chinese. So then I said, where did you learn your film? And they said, I never learned a film. And they said, so who did the editing? I said, me. And then he was so amazed. And then he said, then how much money did you spend on this film? I said, maybe in dollars, I will say it's $50. That's where I make the DVDs. That's where I bought the DVD that cost $50. And then I said, that's the cost of the DVD I bought. And then he was starting blaming his employees, like saying,
Why does it cost us so much to make a film when
Yeah,
she's doing it for $50?
yeah, he was saying exactly. And then they started making a documentary film about Clay and me.
Yeah, she showed me footage, a Chinese television team in her bedroom, and she's sitting there like doing her stuff like, this is what I normally do. So they did a whole bio piece on this young filmmaker. But she hadn't told me that detail before, that they didn't know she was Tibetan. Would they still have come if they'd known you were Tibetan?
I don't know. They just did recognize my younger brother who was talking there. They look for they spent 2 weeks from Beijing to get in my home to look for this place, to know this one. And then they realized my brother, so they went to my village to look for my brother, and then asked him, and he said my sister, and they thought he did misunderstood them, and because he's Chinese, he's not good enough. And then he repeated the saying like, it's my sister, and then they are really confused.
Wow, great story. So more questions? Let's take one more question. Yes, Wendy.
Hi, Dawa. Thank you so much for sharing all this. I'm in
Thank you.
awe of all of this and the cultural change. I can't imagine. How long did it take you to learn English? You speak so well.
How long did it take Dawa to learn English?
And coming to Beijing, was this your very first trip to the United States? And what has been like the biggest shock or experience
Okay.
to you coming?
Yeah.
So 2 questions. One is, how long did it take to learn English? And what's your biggest cultural shock right here, which is a great place to end since this is where we are. So how long to learn English first, and then culture shock in America?
Yeah. Went to a school for 2 years for English. I started learning from English from 2007. And only 2 years in school. And after that, I got few part-time jobs, and then I was working with Dr. Gerald Roach and Elena Michaela. So I got lots of time to practicing. And then the culture shock, right? And then I got here. And then that's the first time I'll be out of China, actually. So also the film, the second film about the yaks, that's just 2 weeks before I left Tibet to Camp Baypath. So I was still herding there. And I went to
the
mountains with...
2 weeks before coming to Baypath, you were still herding.
Yeah.
And she did all the rough footage for that, but she hadn't edited it yet.
Yeah, so I just got time this winter. I went to Maine. I worked for Firebird Foundation. So there, I was editing my film there too. So I was going through all the proposals around the world, and I was so amazed by those proposals that they are saying the same thing I'm saying here. Like, the culture, like endanger the culture around the world, not only in Tibet, but all over the world. So.
Okay, so you've seen that what's happening in your valley with change and modernity is happening in hundreds of local populations trying to preserve historic craft making. What surprised you most or shocked you most? Once you stepped off the plane, you're in America, what surprised you most?
I realized that I think I don't have a lot of difficulties to live here, but I think I miss most is my mom's food.
The food.
Yeah, and she's keeping sending me pictures of those food and every day. I said, you don't have to send those to me, and
in fact, please don't, because you're suffering worse to see something you can't eat.
My mom said, you can come home. And I said, okay.
Okay. And last question is, what do you like most in the United States? What is it here? Is there anything that you found that you do like a lot? Okay, our food, I understand.
I really like that people's really open-minded to anything, any culture and the religious, and also any thoughts about anything. So I really like that. It's it's open for everyone to speak anything and say anything, or just about your personal ideas and anything. So I would say that, I think.
And now she has access to YouTube, which for you would be a great learning tool of filmmaking possibilities.
Yeah, I just realized I love dumplings. We have it's called momo, and that's my favorite food from my mom. And I found out momo sound in YouTube. So funny. I was showing it to my roommates and all my friends.
It's a dumpling song?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Go to YouTube, search dumpling song, share Dawa's culture. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawa.
Thank you.
And I want to say, Dawa is very eager to meet you individually. Anybody wants to come up and talk? She has a beautiful book. It's on lulu.com. It's her photography. You won't believe. If you think the Amish can raise a barn, there's 2,000 of her people in her valley they're doing a monastery raising, a Buddhist monastery. They get together in 3 or 4 months. They build a whole monastery, and she's running around taking pictures of them And then you were singing with them and dancing with them. While they're working, they're singing and dancing and building a monastery.
Yeah. The soundtrack is also on Google, so you can just listen to the walking songs online for free.
Can we find them on YouTube? We can find them on YouTube too. Thank you so much, Dr. Jarvis, and thank you so much, Dawa. Thank you, everyone, again, for coming to tonight's Kaleidoscope event. Please join me in thanking Dr. Jarvis and Dawa with another round of applause.